Welcome back to part 3. In the last part, we talked about a fundamental mismatch in how PhD applications are understood. Most candidates ask a simple question, and that is, how do I get in? Whereas the panel asks a fundamentally different question, and that is, who can we realistically take on with the constraints that we have to successfully deliver the project? And the gap between these two questions is where a lot of confusion comes from. And to understand it properly, we need to look into something that most applicants rarely pay attention to, and that is the composition of the panel and how they decide about your application. And this is what we will be doing in part 3. Understanding the panel composition is really important at all stage of your application. When you are putting together your statement letter, when you are preparing your CV, or when you're writing your research proposal, you need to know who you are talking to. Again, the composition may differ among different programs, different institutions, different programs, but usually there is a core member who are always present. And this includes the committee chair, a senior professor or academics, and their role is to lead the discussion and sometimes make final decision or have the final authority. Then you will see the director of graduate studies on the panel, whose role is to oversee the program, ensure consistency, fairness, and to make sure the program and the evaluation process is improved and gets better each year. Then you have usually between 3 to 5 faculty members specialized between different expertise and different disciplines, and they have various ranks, and their role is to review applications depending on their expertise and your expertise and the specialty of the content of your application. Then we also have postgraduate admission manager, whose role is to foresee the formalities, legislation, and fairness, etc. And sometimes, not always, you also see potential supervisor. And again, here is very different strategies. In some programs, the supervisors, they don't have voting power. They are there to just listen, and finally they make their final decision whether this is a good fit to their program, and all they can do to provide a feedback. But in some other programs, they also act like a voting member of the panel. And then the composition in an ideal world, the more diverse panel is more powerful, and it usually results a better outcome. Therefore, the aim is to have from very senior to very junior panel members. If possible, you will see almost equal number of males and females in the panel, and also, as I said, from very diverse disciplines. And how this panel make decision, again, very different among different institutions, programs, but there is perhaps a common pattern among them all. One is that usually your application is sent to different either external reviewers or panel members, and they each evaluate your application independently, and then finally a collective decision is made. And the way these decisions are made are different. The one very common one is basically they call it a consensus one, which is very common. And what does this mean here is that the panel member, the discussion continues until agreement is reached. And another strategy for decision making in a panel is scoring, where each members or each reviewers are asked to score each application, and then eventually either the total of these rankings or scores or the average of them make the final outcome or final decision. And the third is very similar but slightly different, is a voting system in which all the panel members are basically asked to vote, and this sometimes happens in situations where there is no consensus reached. And perhaps those tips that hopefully can, to help you from this decision-making process. One is that the strong advocacy from at least one senior member matters, and sometimes is, will change the outcome. It's important to, to have no red flags in your application. Funding availability and sustainability is very important. Supervisor enthusiasm is critical, and the match between your motivation, your skills, and what you offer to do with the research group and the research culture that you are aiming to join is critical. And perhaps the moral takeaway here for you is that we should note that committee decisions are evidence-based, but ultimately shaped by human judgments. And to summarize this section, we discussed who is on the panel, 4 to 8 voting members that include chair, director, faculty members, supervisor, the director of graduate office. The composition is very diverse among disciplines and among the academic ranking. The aim is to cover multiple perspectives. The way decisions are made are very different, but usually each application is evaluated independently, then a collective decision is made, either based on consensus or scoring or voting. Both objective criteria and subjective judgments are in place. Advocacy matters, and red flags derail your application. What this means for you is that you should prepare your application for a very diverse panel member. You must be very clear in your application. It must be accessible to people from different backgrounds and different disciplines. It must address multiple concerns: feasibility, motivation, fit, and so on. Make sure to generate supervisor enthusiasm, and as much as you can, avoid red flags. Your application strategy at this stage, you must note that clarity is more important, complexity, specificity over vagueness, evidence over claims, and fit over prestige. And with this, we come to the end of this part. In the next part, I will be discussing red flags and green flags while preparing your application. I hope you enjoyed this part, and see you next.